Can you dig it?
Kevin is so DC for life. He is so DC4L. He is so DC4L. He can't even hide it. It's a Trojan horse. This nice guy actually Trojan horse is actually DC4L so hard.
Chris Hansen here, and I'm going to need you all to take a seat right over there and check out Birds versus Boys.
I think you're completely right here, and I hate it.
Yep. Hey, idiots. Stop doing dumb things. I got 2 phones. Upset alert. Upset alert. I might go insane.
I think you're already there. There's no hope. Hope is gone.
If this was an AFC North podcast, we'd be done in 15 minutes.
Bob Hope.
I'm going to drink bleach. That
is? Be the team you promised me you were going to be this year.
This is the Consciously Hopeful podcast.
I'll be watching.
Welcome to episode 77 of Birds vs. Boys. We've made it. It's week 3 of the NFL, and it is officially hate week. You are probably listening to this or watching it on YouTube on Thursday, or maybe it's Friday, or maybe it's Saturday, or you might even be listening on Sunday because Cowboys and Eagles don't play until Monday night. It is Monday Night Football, prime time. First game against each other in the season. Both teams are 1-1, and Aidan and I are going to be locked in a boxing ring watching this game.
This game snuck up on me like a jack in the box because I'm used to these games being late October around Halloween time with an actual jack in the box jumping out at me. But here we are, week 3. I have my hopes up again on the Eagles, and now they are in a game that may decide the division in 3 months from now.
Yes, I mean, everybody says, the games week 16, 17 matter. Every single game matters. Every single game. And Vince is pulling up the rivalry matchup, which will be happening at Showboat Monday night. Me, Aidan, and CEO Joe locked in a boxing ring, live streaming this game. I mean, this is the first time we're ever going to be watching a game together, Aidan.
This is the first time I've ever watched a game like outside of the comfort of my own home. So yeah, this is the first time we're watching a game.
You're going to be out of your element.
I'm going to be out of my element. It might throw the team off. We might start slow in the first quarter because they're not used to me. Usually I'm coaching them and they're listening to me, and I'm 3 inches from the television screen, and everyone knows that the players can hear you through the television screen. So when you say, "Watch your back" to the quarterback when a defensive end is coming around, they can hear you and they run away. So if Jalen Hurts gets strip sacked, that's on you guys for making me do this.
There's like 14 huge screens there, so maybe they'll actually be able to hear you better.
Ooh, that's true. That's true. I have multiple angles on it, so I can tell the receivers to do something. I can tell the offensive line. Yep. I can tell the quarterbacks. So this may work out. But yes, tune in at Branded Sports _ and also at Birds vs. Boys Pod. Give us a follow as well on Twitter. And then Vince, is it on our YouTube channel? On the Birds vs. Boys YouTube channel?
Yes. Too? Yes. He's nodding his head yes.
All right, perfect. So, and it is sponsored by Viget. Thank you for setting that up. I talked about this before, but the boxing ring scene is perfect. It's just hilarious. It is just perfect. The scene, the setting, you cannot beat it. It's not like a bunch of guys sitting in a room. We're in a legit boxing ring.
It's just phenomenal. So before we go any further and we dive into this game and we recap a little bit of our guest spot on Flipping the Birds pod last night, I got you a present, a hate week present that I want to present to you. I feel like this is the way we need to start off the week. And I hope you enjoy. It's something I've been working on, and I hope you like it. So this is for Aidan to start hate week.
Woo! What's up, Cowboys Nation? You guys know I dropped a hype video. I dropped a promo 2 days before the game. But it's Eagles week, and I just couldn't help myself because I came across a podcast, Bird vs. Boys. Great podcast, great host, and Kevin because he's a Cowboys fan. But he's got Aidan, and he's got the producer Vince, who are Eagle fans. Heck, Kevin's wife's an Eagles fan, so I know he's outnumbered, so I'm coming to the rescue to set the record straight. To all you Eagle fans and all you Philadelphia Eagles, you guys think that you win one Super Bowl in 55 years, that you've now become America's team? Let me tell you something about being America's team. Rule number 1, you never overmatch yourself. So Fletcher Cox, you're 6'4", 310 pounds. You're probably a little too big for my man Connor Williams, but let's see what happens when you try try that all-pro Zach Martin off the sides. Hurts, my man Parson has got his name written all over you. And I'd like to name the Eagles receivers, but I don't know who the hell they are. But you guys better think twice about going across the middle, brother, because that buzzsaw, the human crippler, is going to chew you up one side, spit you out the back. So I'm going to say this one more time. Eagle fans, Philadelphia Eagles, you might not like it, but you will learn to love it because we are America's team, and we are the best thing going today. Then can you dig it?
Can you dig it?
Kevin is so DC for life. He is so DC4L. He is so DC4L. He can't even type it. It's a Trojan horse. This nice guy actually Trojan horse is actually DC4L so hard. First of all, I love that guy. Kevin actually likes that guy. First of all, the Eagles are America's team. I say this every 8 weeks. Where was the first capital of the United States? That's right. It was Philadelphia. Where was the country founded? Philadelphia. What is the bird of the United States of America? An eagle. What does Dallas have to do with anything in America? Nothing. They have a few oil fields 700 miles away. Pathetic, poverty. No one cares about that city. Philadelphia is America's team. Thank you for your time. I love that guy. That line about the Eagles receivers. Genuine. Because sometimes, like when Devontae Smith is up last year, I did not know who the receivers were.
Him wearing a Micah Parsons, Parsons jersey was just perfect.
Oh, just the perfect. That was the cherry on top.
Shout out to our guy. I mean,
yes. Can we have him on the show later this
year?
Yes,
we can. I talked to him multiple times on the phone today. He called me.
He called you?
He called me because he was so excited about how good this video came out. And he called me and I talked to him for about 5 to 10 minutes on the phone. And he wants to come on the show.
But you guys are friends now.
We're best friends. DC4.
What a man cave. If you guys are listening on the podcast, he pops. Usually he didn't pop out of the door, but usually throws open the door like the meme of what's the?
Oh, he popped out of the door.
Did he?
Oh, he got the knee slaps.
I got so fired up that it was him because I watched the video. You send me the video literally every week. So I got too fired up, but I didn't realize that he came out of the door.
So I didn't want to tell Vince. I just wanted to show both of you guys, but then I was like, no, so Vince doctored it up. Obviously he Vinced it and added the words and everything. And it's just happy hate week.
Fantastic. What? Give him a shout out his name and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I've only ever
Mike Tag.
I'm not personal friends with him like you are. Talking.
Got his phone number right here in my phone. In my phone. All right.
M Tag 1993.
Yep. Mike Tag.
Mike. Big Mike, baby.
Big Mike. Well,
I'd love to have him on. How about this?
Him and E-Rock together.
Monday, since you text him, tell him I love the video. I was fired up about it. He got me really fired up for hate week. And if the Eagles win, I will be taking the number from your phone and I will be giving him a personal FaceTime live from Atlantic City at around midnight on Monday.
It's perfect.
If Jalen Hurts drives us down the field for a winning touchdown. How about that?
That's even better because he's going to be at the game. So that's perfect.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Oh, hell yeah. He probably has a sick tailgate. That guy definitely has a short bus that he converted into a tailgate.
Oh, 100%. It would start, and it's actually a Cowboys helmet with the bars and everything in the front
of it. Yeah. Just like the grill of it is now just like the helmet. Yeah, a face mask.
So good.
Absolutely.
So good. All right, let's get into this. So, do you have any technical notes for tonight before we start?
Yes, we did bury the lead because I got too excited about the video that Kevin showed me.
Yes, I couldn't wait anymore.
I don't blame you. That set the tone for the show. Now we're fired up. Let's go. So we do have Football Kelly coming on tonight at Football Kelly on Twitter. So she has a few podcasts going. She's part of the Eagles Podcast Network. I'm excited to have her on. I was listening to her podcast earlier today and found myself nodding my head with some of the points she was making. And this was a week ago. So I'm sure she'll have some good stuff for us. So she'll be joining us, obviously, to talk about the game this week. And then we were also on a podcast last night. We were on Flipping the Birds. It's run by Philadelphia Sports Network, PSN. You guys have probably heard of them as well.
Mm-hmm.
So check that out because we came in hot. It was so funny.
Did.
We just came in. We were just like so fired up.
They definitely didn't know what to expect with our energy at first, but then it's like our guests that the first time they talk to us too, they get a little hesitant, and then 2 minutes in, they're like, "Yep, I'm in."
Because they don't know who we are, and then after then they realize very quickly. So we'll I think, and that definitely happened with them. You could just tell that they were fired up as soon as we got in there.
Absolutely.
So check that one out. It's Flipping the Birds at Flipping the Birds right there. Chris Infante and his boy Morgan. I thought Morgan was so knowledgeable. I really enjoyed talking to him.
Lives in Canada. Had no idea to the end.
Did you notice the way he said Reger?
Oh yeah,
that was the giveaway. That was the
Regar.
Rhaegar.
Yeah, Rhaegar.
It was different.
Yeah.
That's what it was. That's what gave me a sign. I was like, that's an accent. Where?
Mm-hmm.
And then we were talking about it, and he said they're still kind of in lockdown.
Yep.
And then he said he really liked the Drake album. And I was like, yeah, you're definitely forgetting it.
Hey.
So go listen to them, Flipping the Birds pod. And then Football Kelly is the host of the Kelly Green Show on Eagles Unfiltered Podcast Network. So 2 shows, and we'll have her on 2 nights.
Yep. Really excited to pick her brain about this game. So who wants to go first? You want to go first, or should we just flow together here?
Let's flow together. I know we already wrote down a bunch of notes just because we were on a show earlier this week. I have my notes about the game, but it's just the most 50-50 game.
Mm-hmm.
All the time we say, week 17 is going to determine the division. No, it's not. Someone's starters are going to be resting week 18 this year.
Yep.
But these are the games. These are the 50-50 games that determine a division. And we both think that this might come down to the Eagles and Cowboys for the division again.
I do. I definitely do, because like I said, I'm flipping the birds. I don't fully know what this Washington defense is yet, right? We were all like, oh, this is the greatest front of all time. They were so good last year, but it's so hard for a defense to repeat and be great year after year. And we're kind of seeing it after 2 weeks that, teams are moving the ball on Washington. Chargers were able to move the ball. Daniel Jones was able to move the ball a lot, probably his best game in his career against that vaunted Washington D. They lose Ryan Fitzpatrick. Heineke comes in. He wins the game. He's a fun, lovable story. XFL backup a year and a half ago, almost beats Tom Brady in the playoffs, wins this game. But can he sustain that? I don't know. That's the thing. The Giants are dead already. They don't even consider a football team. I really do think it's going to come down to our 2 teams this year.
I do too. I like I said, I feel bad for Washington almost, just because the one thing that's been escaping them for years is solid quarterback play. And part of the problem, they had a quarterback who had a compound fracture. That's just horrible luck. But then here you are again. You think, all right, we've turned the corner. We have a quarterback that we can trust somewhat in Ryan Fitzpatrick when he catches fire and then he gets hurt. So I don't know how to feel about those teams. The thing is, I do know how I feel about Dak Prescott playing at an elite level so far, coming off 2 injuries, really. And that's why I give the Cowboys the upper hand in the division, because I just go, okay, who is the best player in the division right now that can make an impact? It's Dak Prescott. So that's why I lean Cowboys. But I'm not selling the Eagles short in week 3. And I think that's what's so great about this game being early. Usually we have a larger sample size for these teams. We know what they are when they play each other. I believe it was Dak had already gotten hurt last year.
Yes.
So we knew what the Cowboys were. We were pretty much finding out that the Eagles weren't good at that point. It was right there, kind of in October. So this being in week 3 and the sample size being 2 games going into it leads to more intrigue to me.
Yes, there's a lot more question marks. And with guys being out, and then the COVID kind of issues lead to intrigue as well. Ertz is on the COVID list. Is he going to play? Is he not? Keanu O'Neal now for the Cowboys. Same deal. Hasn't tested positive. Was just close to somebody that did test positive. So there's so many question marks, and so we don't, like we said, Dak has looked great in 2 games, but guess what? Jalen Hurts has looked pretty damn good too. Is he going to sustain it all year? Again, you don't know, but we don't have to worry about that right now. We're only 2 weeks in, and they both look good, which makes this game even more fun.
I know that two cool quarterbacks, but two quarterbacks that are fun to watch. I get the feeling, I haven't checked the over under, but I feel like this is going to be trend more to
I think it was 51 and a half last
50.
I saw.
That's tough. That's tough. I don't know. I feel like it might be around there, but I wouldn't be confident betting over the 51 and a half.
Let me see.
But it's just, like I said, the sample size is so small, and you brought up all those injuries, COVID, all these problems. But at the same time, like, we didn't know what the Eagles were going into the season. They played one bad team. They played one good team. They beat the bad team. They lost to the good team. So what are they? Probably something in the middle of those two. But we also look like the Cowboys lost to a really good team, and they beat like a solid Chargers team. So we're doing the what are they conversation. And that's what makes it so hard to predict a game like this. I think we have some keys to the game that we would like to see, but I don't think either of us are like overtly confident in our teams in a win. And you're not pounding the table, lock it in, Birds by 1,000,000, Cowboys by 50. Like, neither of us are doing that this week.
No. And because these games, for the most part, unless it's something drastic, right? Like Ben DiNucci starting for the Cowboys last year. When these teams are relatively healthy, the starting quarterbacks are there, no matter what the records are either. And even if we know established what each team is, these games, for the most part, usually are a battle and could go either way. That's just the way all of these division teams play games. So I got to admit, I'm really nervous for this game. I'm always nervous for hate week. Always. I'm even more nervous that we're in a boxing ring. But at the same time, I don't know if I've been this excited for a Cowboys-Eagles game in a little while as I am for this game.
Yeah, so two things to touch on based off what you said. The excitement level. This was a season going in, I didn't have much excitement because we're clearly playing for the future. And we still are. We still are. Like, we're tracking what the Dolphins and the Colts are doing because we know where our first round picks lie, depending on their success. So I didn't come in having a lot of excitement. Then we won 32-6. And this whole time, Devontae Smith was growing on us. Siranni was growing on us. Jalen Hurts was growing on us. And then they come out and win week one. You're like, all right, I'm back in. And they didn't look bad against the 49ers either. They did. That performance definitely didn't take anybody out. So that excitement level is fortunately back there, which is great for this. And then you brought it up. These games always seem to be 50-50, one possession. You're not confident. Like, one play here or there changes the course of it. And that's what I saw just watching the Chargers-Cowboys game last week. Chargers had 12 penalties for 99 yards, 2 interceptions. One of the interceptions was in the red zone. They had a touchdown called back on a penalty. They had a missed field goal. The Eagles, as cliche as it sounds, need to avoid the mental mistake performance that the Chargers had. Because in a division game that almost always is one possession late in the fourth quarter, you can't have those mistakes pile up. They do not have the talent to allow those mistakes to pile up. So my goal with a young coach and with a young team, don't beat yourselves on a tough environment in the road. Be disciplined, and good things will work out for you, and you may win this game.
100%. Because, I mean, there's nothing worse than getting a good play taken away on first or second down with a holding call, and now it's 2nd and 18 or 2nd and 20, 1st and 20. I mean, those are, for the most part, drive killers. A little bit different in today's day and age of football where, 2nd and 17 is like nothing to these teams anymore, the way the ball is thrown around. But still, I mean, disciplined football, like you said, is going to win this game. Not turning over the ball is going to win this game. Doing the little things right is going to win this game. And that's what makes me nervous, because this Cowboys team doesn't always do the little things right. It even goes back to coaching, especially with this team. Not even caring, right, about the kicking game during camp and the preseason. Zerline's hurt. They didn't even bring a kicker to the Hall of Fame game because they're like, doesn't matter. We know our kickers. Yeah, but it doesn't matter to the guys practicing the snap and the hold. It's the little things. And speaking of special teams, John Fossil, it's 4th and 20. right before the half. You got 2 minutes left. Dak Prescott's getting the ball back with 2 minutes left in the first half, and you decide to rush the punter, and then you run into him, and it's roughing the kicker, and now you don't get the ball back, and the Chargers get the ball back. Luckily, the Chargers doinked the field goal off the uprights. But there you go, right there. Undisciplined football. And that's the reason the Chargers lost. But the Cowboys tried to hand it to them right now. Why are you rushing the punter on 4th and 20 when your offense is humming in the first half? Makes no sense. And then you come out and say it's because Dallas Cowboys fans like to be aggressive. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, what were some of the answers in press conferences for the Cowboys coaches this week? Just unreal. But that's to piggyback off you again, attention to detail. Nick Siranni is a young coach. The Eagles looked like a young team last week. I don't care this week. Like, if you're an NFL coach, if you're a good or to great NFL coach in the making, you need to outcoach Mike McCarthy and these guys.
That's
because there was a clear lack of attention to detail when you're at a state-of-the-art palace and you can't find a clock late in the game and your offensive coordinator has to run a 4-4-40 to call a timeout for you so you can kick the game-winning field goal. 4th and 20 and you're steamrolling the punter. These things for the Eagles, like, you need to be better than that. You cannot be at the mistake level of that. And if Nick Sirianni is going to be a good coach, and I think he will be, there needs to be a level of attention to detail. I don't care how many years of experience those guys have. You need to be better than them. You need to outcoach Mike McCarthy on Monday night.
Do you know who got the penalty for the Cowboys hitting the punter, by the way?
Jabril Cox.
No, it was Kamara, the Hard Knocks fame guy. Yeah.
Oh, man. His mom was probably thrilled because she had no idea
what
was going on.
Yeah, she's like, Kamara! She had no idea. She was just all excited.
Unreal. Let's give just do you have a key and a prediction before we bring Football Kelly on?
So I have a couple. I think you may not agree with me here, but I think the Cowboys can take advantage of Jordan Mailata a little bit. I know he's big. I know he's good. But if you watch the way he plays, he sets back a little softly, if you know what I mean. And if he has trouble with anybody, it's guys with speed and then have good pass rush ability. You're not going to bull rush Jordan Mailata. It's just not going to happen. But Randy Gregory has very good pass rush ability, and he's very, very fast. So I think he's going to have the ability to get to Jalen Hurts. Whether he gets 2 or 3 sacks, I don't know, but I think he's going to get a lot of hurries. So I think that's one point where they're going to be able to take advantage. And then 2, I think Pollard, using him the way they used against the Chargers and trying to hit a couple screen passes and get him matched up on those Eagles linebackers. I mean, you can win that all day, right? Something I'm scared about matchup wise is, I said it last night too, is these receivers on Anthony Brown, whether it's Devontae Smith, whether it's Quez Watkins. If I'm Nick Sirianni and if I'm Jalen Hurts, I'm throwing a deep ball 8 to 10 times that game, not hoping that I'm going to complete all of those, but there's a good chance you may get a 50, 60-yard penalty, right? Multiple times. Quez Watkins is going to be able to get by Anthony Brown. I will bet he has a long touchdown in this game. It's going to happen. It's like Deshaun Watson used to do against the Eagles. So, they're going to try and take advantage also of the Cowboys safeties because they don't have the foot speed to match these Eagles wide receivers. So I'm interested to see how far back the Eagles or the Cowboys, play their safeties in this game. You want a prediction game-wise? Score?
Yeah, I guess we should give a score. I guess we kind of have to, right?
Yeah. Last night I said 30-27 Cowboys. I'm going to stick to that. I think it's that type of game. It's going to be up and down scoring, which means it's going to be a 13-10 game. But everything tells me that it should be. It should be that. And I'm also a little nervous about Fletcher Cox and Hargraves going against Biotish and Connor Williams. Cox. And it's a nerve-wracking. We need Zach Martin to show up big in this game again.
Again, yeah,
he was the highest graded out player of all players last week, by the way, in the NFL.
I saw that. That was very impressive, but very on brand for him, which makes sense.
Yep.
So
Can you
real
imagine
quick,
if they had drafted Johnny Manziel instead of him? Jesus Christ. Keep going.
if Jerry Jones had his way, they would have. So I know you brought up Mulata and testing him. I guess my key to the game, let's stay up front with the offensive line. Landon Dickerson making his first start as an NFL player coming off ACL surgery when he tore his ACL back in the SEC championship game in December.
Mm-hmm.
So has had limited time on the field, rookie on the road. I'd be testing the interior.
Yes. Oh, 100%. Because he did struggle a tiny bit last week.
Yeah, Jason Kelsey actually struggled a little bit too. But I'll tell you what, that is a very good 49ers front seven. That probably has a little bit to deal with it as well. But again, staying with the offensive line, what I was impressed with early on in that 49ers game, a lot of 2nd and 4s, a lot of 2nd and 3. They were creating holes for Miles Sanders and Kenny Gainwell, and they've been able to do that for 2 weeks straight. They got away from it in the second half. That more had to deal with the score, and they panicked a little bit, and then they got away from their offense. But they've been able to create holes for 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping that continues this week. Win up front. Win in the trenches. You were bad last year because you started 14 different offensive line combinations in 16 weeks. You're forced into starting a new combination this week, but you invested heavy draft capital in Landon Dickerson because you thought he'd be the future. So let's find out right away if he is. Yep. Continue to create those holes. And then the other thing I want to look at, let's get back to what I'm deeming the Oklahoma offense. Getting the ball, spreading things out, getting the ball out of Jalen Hurts' hands quick. Think about the first 2 plays against Atlanta. They ran a quick bubble screen to the left to Quez Watkins, quick bubble screen to the right to Quez Watkins. Just getting the ball out of his hands. It doesn't have to be, what's that stat that everyone keeps bringing up with Jalen Hurts? Oh, his air yards. Well, it doesn't have to be. Just get the ball out of his hands, especially if the offensive line is playing well and you're in these 2nd and 4s. And then Jalen Hurts continuing to make plays with his legs. And lastly, I am finally, for once in my life, slightly confident in the cornerbacks on the Philadelphia Eagles. For the first time since Alito Shepard was in our graces and Brian Dawkins and Sheldon Brown. I was in elementary school. This is the first time I've been slightly confident since that point. They will be put to the test on Monday night. And it might be the toughest test that they face all year, even without Michael Gallup. I think both teams move the ball a ton. We'll worried a little bit about execution for both teams in the red zone. A lot of bend but not break. So my score prediction, 24-20 Eagles, mostly because I don't want to drive back from Atlantic City after a loss.
I don't want you to have to do that, but at the same time, I do want you to have to do that, especially after I give you a right cross in the middle of the boxing ring.
I don't know how this first half goes. There might be a fight at halftime.
Oh, there definitely will be. All right. Football Kelly's here. We want to bring her in. I'm really excited for this interview, Aidan. I know you are as well. She has a lot of Eagles knowledge. It's hate week. I've never interacted with her on camera before, so I'm very excited to see how I get treated. It's always fun when we bring on either an Eagles personality or a Cowboys personality. They always end up loving both of us. It's just, it's who we are. So yeah, you ready? You want to do this?
I am. All right, let's bring her in. Football Kelly, football_Kelly on Twitter. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
What's going on? I don't like the hat.
I apologize. I was finishing up my podcast and then it was running a little late, so I apologize.
Well, that's okay, because we got ourselves really fired up, and obviously it's hate week, it's rivalry week, so we got ourselves too fired up, and we were running late too. So that's perfect.
Yeah, so it's perfect. So before we even get it, let's let you plug that then before we get into anything else. What podcast were you recording?
So I have the Kelly Green Show on the Eagles Unfiltered podcast, and I just did an interview with Kelsey Charles. She hosts a show for the Dallas Cowboys called something in the stars, Star at Night, I think it's called.
It's big and bright.
I got it right on the podcast introduction, but it's totally escaping me at the moment because I don't watch Dallas Cowboys TV shows. But she was a great guest. Looking forward to putting that one out in the coming days ahead of the Monday night game.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. All right, Aidan, let's kick this off.
All right. Yeah, let's do it. We got some questions for you. I think it's funny. You didn't get your fill of Dallas Cowboys with your guest. Now we have Kevin here, so we'll see how this goes.
Dallas week,
Amen. 8 week, baby.
Got to do it. Let's talk about the Eagles real quick first. So we were on a podcast last night, and I brought this up. Like, the old adage is like, there's two sides to every story, and then the truth kind of lies somewhere in the middle. So the Eagles played a good team, and they played a good team and they lost, and they played a bad team and they won handily. So they're probably somewhere in the middle.
Fair.
Where's your confidence level in this team heading into a huge game early on with a small sample size in week 3?
Well, that's a great question. And the way you put it is perfect, because I just have been kind of bouncing back and forth. Like, what is this team, right? You're looking at them and you're saying, this is the home opener and you lost? Like, against the 49ers, like, you couldn't just put it away. Like, you couldn't put the points on the board to win the game. So I just hope that this loss to the 49ers going into week 3 has instilled a little bit of sense into Nick Siranni. He's a young head coach, rookie head coach. He needs a learning curve. Like, we need to give him some grace in making these decisions, making these mistakes, because ultimately, he was aggressive in that game against the Falcons, but he could be aggressive. Like, we were going away from, we were totally blowing them out at that point. So in my mind, the Sirianni we need to see on Monday night needs to be smart and needs to be, executing and playing to his players' strengths. That's what we saw week 1. He got a little away from it. He got a little too cute in week 2. Would have loved that to be a win. But to me, go into Dallas week 3 with all the momentum kind of building for, the media loves the Cowboys. Like, they just want to give them all the roses. They want to do all this bullshit every year.
I hate that. I hate it.
We start out with all this bullshit about how great they are. And so the momentum going into this game is just that the Cowboys are going to beat the hell out of the Eagles. It just seems like that's just the narrative going into this game. I just don't see it being that way. The divisional games are always interesting. I think they're always pretty close for the most part. Last year, the Eagles were just completely a mess, had so many injuries in so many different parts, and were crushed by the Cowboys, which sucked. So I'm looking forward to, Jalen Hurts getting back to where he was in week 1, being smart with the ball, and throwing the ball to maybe the tight ends every once in a while would be great.
That would help.
So, just being smart about the execution. And, I do want to at least give, since I've been so negative towards Sirianni in the beginning of this podcast episode, he actually did stick to the run game, which I've been begging Doug Peterson to do for years. Finally seeing the defense, like stopping the run and then still trying to establish it was like refreshing to me. Like, they were still trying to make it happen. So I'm hoping that we can take advantage of the fact that the Cowboys aren't that great at stopping the run and execute in this particular matchup.
It's so funny that you say that, because before we brought you on, we were talking keys with one another, and I said execution. The Chargers were terrible with it. They had so many penalties. They shot themselves in the foot. It can't happen in a one-possession game. And then my other key was, they've actually done pretty well creating lanes for Miles Sanders and Kenny Gainwell running the ball. And then you came on and just hammered the point home. So I'm glad we were on the same page with that.
Yeah, we're definitely on the same page with that. And I think Justin Herbert threw 2 interceptions last week. Jalen Hurts has been protecting the ball. Love to see that from a young quarterback. He's, a rookie. He's a second-year quarterback like Justin Herbert. So you love to see Jalen Hurts, creating those run lanes for himself too. Like, he's smart about knowing when to run it, when to throw it. I think his decision-making in those particular moments has been spot on. So definitely feel like he has that dual threat for the Cowboys to have to keep honest on the defensive side.
That's for sure.
But I do worry about Dallas putting up points, because it seems like they are very good on offense.
Oh yeah.
They're efficient and they move fast. It's definitely going to be a test out there.
Yeah.
Let's focus on that, because that was going to be my next question is shifting to the defensive side of the ball. I was listening to your podcast and you had Melissa Jacobs on, and she was kind of focusing last week as you guys previewed the 49ers game. She was kind of focused on the Eagles defensive line as being one of the keys. Now, are you at all worried about the defensive line without Brandon Graham being there for the rest of the season? Or do you see this being the time where Derek Barnett and Josh Sweat finally step up, or even Milton Williams, the rookie, possibly getting extended time?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I personally saw a drop off in the pass rush when BG went down last week. Mm-hmm. So that's upsetting, because you lose that veteran presence. You lose that guy who's always rallying the other guys to play with full intensity. You lose that on the field. That's a big loss. And I could tell that they had lost a little bit of the pass rush that they had earlier on in the game. I don't know if that resulted in the reason why they weren't able to contain Jimmy Garoppolo to, what they did in the first half when we had BG. But I ultimately am going to be a fan and say, these guys have to step up. Josh Sweat just got paid to step up. If there's no other time to prove that you are the reason that you got paid, it's in this particular matchup, because every Eagles fan wants to win this game, and there's nothing more they want to see than Dak getting sacked.
Very true.
It's true. So let's shift to advantages that you feel like the Eagles have in this Monday night game. I know you said the running game. I know my answer of what I'm most fearful of in the Eagles, and I'll tell you what it is after. But what advantages do you think the Eagles have against the Cowboys that they need to exploit on Monday night?
Well, I'm not totally convinced that Terrence Steele, even though he had a decent game against the Chargers, will be able to hold up against the pass rush that we do have. Even without Brandon Graham, there is this wave of talent behind him that I feel we could exploit what he put on tape last week. I mean, the fact that he didn't have as much tape from last year, he improved significantly. I think Steele had a very good game, so I'm not knocking him. I'm just saying he is a point that you have to take advantage of, because he isn't the starter.
Absolutely.
In my opinion, I think that the biggest opportunity the Eagles have is probably at the D-line.
Okay.
I'm trying to think of anything else that we have a full advantage of. I feel great at the O-line, being able to contain your pass rush. I feel comfortable even with Randy Gregory back. Even with the loss of Brandon Brooks, I feel good about the Eagles protecting Jalen Hurts against your defensive front. So it really is all about the trenches for me when it comes to this particular game.
I got to tell you, and Aidan knows what I'm terrified of. It's any one of your wide receivers going up against Anthony Brown. You send Quez Watkins deep on 30. I mean, do it all night. Yikes. You saw what Antonio Brown did against him. He just can't play cornerback. So you go deep on him, it's game on all night, unfortunately. So I that's what I'm most fearful of.
I think we'll probably avoid Diggs' side of the field and just, we'll probably just go wherever Brown is. That seems even Jordan like a good Lewis strategy.
Yep. Don't tell them that. I didn't.
I'm telling them.
Oh, it Diggs.
I'm calling them tonight.
Try Diggs. All right. Then what's your gut feeling? What do you think? We gave score predictions. I said 30-27 Dallas. We don't like giving score predictions, but hate week we kind of have to. We hate
score predictions. It makes me look
all right. All right. You don't even have to do score. Just your gut feeling of how the game plays out.
I've said this on another podcast, so I'll just say it on this one just to stay consistent, and I'll just be wrong twice if it doesn't happen. I think the Eagles finally get a turnover. We've been basically sniffing them out in the past 2 weeks. We finally get those turnovers on the defensive side of the ball, and I think that the defense ends up with some points on the board. So I know it will be a close game. In my mind, it will be probably very close, within 2-3 points. And I think that both teams will probably be in the 20s. Don't think it will be a shootout by any stretch, but a competitive, close game like what you saw against the Chargers. The one thing that concerns me is that Dallas is at home and this is their home opener. So I expect our O-line will have a couple of false starts or problems on their hands.
Yeah,
especially Landon Dickerson making his first start ever, and like you mentioned, It is the Dallas home opener, so it'll be slightly loud in there.
That'll be a big challenge for him.
Yeah, definitely. I think we got 2 more questions for you. I wanted to go back to Nick Siranni because I think that's an interesting topic. You brought up the turnovers, and I am in full agreement. I feel like Stevie Nelson he is so close on some of these with an interception that I think that's going to happen. He's just so close.
Drive me nuts.
That I think we're very close to that interception. So on the offensive side of the ball, where Sirianni kind of makes his money, I'm positive about him. But I heard you and Devin talking. Devin has been on the podcast with Kevin a few times about learning from mistakes. What would you like to see from him on the offensive side of the ball that shows that those aren't just words? He's actually learning from mistakes that we made last week against the 49ers.
Yeah, I just think it comes down to putting points on the board. What is the best play to get points on the board? Whether it's 3 points and a field goal or going for it on 4th down. Like, how are we putting up points? Are we putting our defense in a tough position? I'm sure that all the analytics probably told him it was a great idea to do a 4th down play, but the analytics probably didn't say that that was the best play call to make. So just being smart. You don't want to see a rookie quarterback continue to make the same mistakes. Like, that would be insanity. And you want him to seem like he is making the best effort to put his players in a position to win. We heard that all last week after the Falcons win. They were riding this big, celebration tour of winning week 1, that he always tries to put his players in the best position to win. And then I feel like he got away from that in week 2 a little bit. I think he called us a decent game. I think some of the play calls would have worked if Jalen Hurts was a little faster getting the ball out. But he has to put his player in the best position. If he knows that Jalen Hurts is holding the ball a little longer, is this the best play call? So he has to be thinking about who he has at the quarterback position, who he has at all these other positions, and why he's making those play calls. I think he'll learn a little bit better in game action since he didn't really have preseason to get a feel for what these players will look like, and the growing pains have to be had on the regular season. But we can't continue to see the same mistakes, the same issues week to week, and we definitely don't want to see them against Dallas.
Yeah, that's very true. No room for error in these divisional games.
No.
All right. We've got one last question. Simple, and we always ask our guests during Hate Week. It is Dallas week. Give us your favorite Eagles-Cowboys game in your lifetime.
I mean, I feel like the pickle game was always really good. The pickle juice game where Brian Dawkins and all the guys were drinking pickle juice because it was so damn hot in Dallas, they had a total win on that, that game. I think it had to be the Cowboys, like the Super Bowl year the Eagles had, like a total blowout in Dallas. That's where I really felt like, holy shit, we're a really good team. Like it felt like so long before that we had like a blowout win against the Cowboys. It was always very close, very hard won matchups in divisional games. That one was like, whoa, like, what if we're really good? Like, what if we could win? Like, I never wanted to say it out loud because I was like, it's voodoo. But the Super Bowl year when we played in Dallas and we beat them, I was like, this team is pretty good.
Not the funeral game in Philly, the Zeke leap. I mean, that was a great game. Everybody going to Dallas's funeral. They brought a casket to the stadium, and what happened? They got smacked.
You know what? That's why I love Dallas week, because all these antics going on off the field are what make the rivalry great. I mean,
absolutely.
We talk as much shit on social media as the players do probably on the sideline watching the game going down. So,
and I am now officially coming at you.
There's nothing more intense than Dallas week in Philadelphia. You can feel the energy as the game approaches. And it was the same as like when we were winning the Super Bowl. Like we were all just like in a great mood. Like when it's Cowboys week, we're just like, all right, let's do this. Like run through a wall. Why not?
But I mean, this is what I deal with in my home. My wife and I don't speak this week.
Smart.
That's what happens.
Smart.
She's up there. I sleep on the couch. Just what happens.
Love it.
Football Kelly, one last time. Let everybody know where they can follow you on social media and where they can listen and watch your podcast as well.
Well, thank you guys for having me. It was a blast to kind of go over the game that's coming up. My podcast is The Kelly Green Show on the Eagles Unfiltered podcast, and you can follow me at football_Kelly on Twitter.
Absolutely love it. And I am a fan of the Kelly Green. I think the Eagles need to bring it back full time. Awesome. Thanks for joining us, and we will we'll be in touch, and I will definitely be hitting you up on social media.
Yeah, just keep talking trash on the timeline, and
it's coming.
We'll have fun always. So
it's coming.
Cheers, guys.
Enjoy it. Have fun.
Make it happen. Thank you.
Big thank you to Football Kelly for being on. That was a really fun interview for Hate Week. She knows her football, Aidan.
She does, and also match the energy. You and I got each other riled up and fired up immediately tonight. Carry over from being on a podcast last night where we were doing the same thing, and she came in and just immediately matched the energy, which was fantastic during rivalry week like this. And just so funny that I was talking execution, I was talking attention to detail, I was talking emphasis on the running game, and we brought Kelly in, and she immediately was like, they need to execute. They're a young team, but Nick Siranni needs to put them in positions to win and stick to the running game. And I was like, thank you. We are on the same page here.
And I think she's right about going at Terrence Steele. He did play a great game last weekend, especially against Joey Bosa. I mean, the play calling helped him out a lot. They were getting the ball out of Dak's hands quickly, but can that type of guy string two really good starts together in a row? I guess we'll see.
We will find out. But yeah,
we will.
Big, weirdly confident in the offensive line for both of us, and also not as confident. It's just a weird mix, just like that game. You're confident and you're not confident at all.
Yep.
So,
all at the same time.
I was about to say, but Monday night, it all goes down. We'll find out 8:15.
Speaking of confident and not being confident, let's give some picks this week. I know we're going through our picks, and you're like, I don't know if I like this slate or not, but we're giving picks presented by Odds Crowd anyway.
I am scrolling through the Odds Crowd app, looking at the games, looking at my picks. I am 4 for 4 so far.
Mm-hmm.
I am very nervous
2
that
and 2.
2 and 2. Yeah, because you picked against the Cowboys. That's what screwed you.
Yep.
So technically you're 2 and 2, but that counts as like a half because you did get a win out of it.
Yeah.
So I'm a little bit nervous with my picks.
Okay, I'll go. I'll swing mine first because I'm pretty confident in my first.
Good. All right. Before you do, we're getting all these odds and everything, and we're betting on Odds Crowd. Use our promo codes. If you're watching on YouTube, it's scrolling across the bottom. If not, Kevin is Brand2, BRAND as in dog 2. I am Bran11 without the D, BRAN as in Nancy 11, and Vince is BRAN 14. Use any of those and sign up. You can. It's only week 3, so you could still sign up for the season-long challenge. And some people have put themselves in such a hole that it might actually work out for you.
Absolutely,
because it's based on return on investment. So if you're in the negatives unit-wise, you're in trouble.
You are in big trouble.
For college football. Apparently, I know nothing about college football anymore. But I'm usually better at college than the NFL, and I don't know what happened this year. But anyway,
Bizarro Aiden.
Oh yeah, it's Bizarro World Aiden this year. Anyways, download the app. I would get in on the weekly things. It's a quick 200, 150, 200, 300 sometimes if you just join their weekly competitions for free. And then if you win and you're confident in your bets, unlike me, you could win $200, $300 in a week. Easy money.
You risk nothing to win real money. I mean, what?
It's easy.
So
Not
easy.
bad.
So yeah, go download the app right now. Use one of our promo codes. Use mine, or the others. All right, let's get into our picks. Each week we give 2 picks for the week. So my first pick this week, Dolphins at the Raiders. Raiders are a 3.5-point favorite, and I think this is a lock of the week. Tua is out. Jacoby Brissett is starting. I know Will Fuller is back for the Dolphins, but this game is in Las Vegas. The Raiders are 2-0. They look like one of the hottest teams in the league. Derek Carr looks really good. The defense looks legit. 2 big wins, too, right? Beating the Ravens and beating the Steelers. Scares me a little bit that they may come back down to earth and lose to a team like the Dolphins, but Dolphins lost 35-0 last week, and now they lost their quarterback. They're not a very good football team right now. So if this was even Raiders minus 4.5, 5, I would still take it. But minus 3.5, I feel like that's a steal.
I am all for the Dolphins losing football games. I don't care how much they lose by.
Wonder why.
Yeah, they can lose by 4. That'd be great for you, and it would be great for me because last time I checked, there are no pick protections on that. No trade backs. All right, my first pick, only a true degenerate would watch this Thursday night football game between the Houston Texans and the Carolina Panthers.
It's
me, the degenerate. I'm here. Over 42 in this game. I'm taking it. A lot of people are betting the under. We haven't had a primetime game not hit the over yet. So I'm just riding that trend. And I think a lot of people are betting the under because Davis Mills is starting for the Texans. I think the Panthers are going to be able to put up a good amount of points. Christian McCaffrey is healthy. They've looked good so far. To get to 42, it's not an absurd ask for either of these teams, even with Davis Mills as your starting quarterback. So I'm just riding this primetime over wave, over 42, Texans, Panthers. God bless if you are riding with me and watching this Thursday night football game.
I love being a degenerate. I love it. All right. I am going to the toilet bowl now. This game is ugly on paper. 2 of the worst teams in the NFL, both 0-2, combined 0-4. The Atlanta Falcons heading to the New York Giants. We have said that the Falcons could have the number 1 overall pick this year. They're that bad. We hate Joe Judge as a collective unit, as a team here. We think he's a clown. I think the Giants stink. But I think both these defenses stink more, Falcons and the Giants. Daniel Jones was able to move the ball last week, score some points on a very good Washington team. And the Falcons put up points on the Buccaneers last week, right? So the over-under in this game is set at 47.5. I could see a lot of points in this game going up and down, no defense being played. So I'm going over 47.5 points in the Falcons at the New Jersey Giants.
You know the amount of grave dancing I will do if the Giants lose to the Falcons. It will be absurd. After hate week and an Eagles-Cowboys primetime game, that might be the lead next week. We'll see. All right. Now
I'm making you a Joe Judge shirt.
Oh, my God. You should just make it St. Joe's Prep colors because I don't want it to be outdated in a year.
I'll contact Dave Portnoy, see if we can get the clown shirt.
Clown shirt with Joe Judge's. Oh, wow. That's actually a really good idea. I think we play the December 5th or November 28th, something along those lines. Maybe I might be seeing those shirts down the road. All right. For my second pick, we've got Browns and Bears this week. People are really excited about the Bears. Justin Fields is finally going to get the start, but it is on the road at Cleveland. I think Cleveland's going to be able to move the ball, even on a really good Chicago Bears defense. And also Odell Beckham full go this week in practice. It looks like he's going to be playing, even though they lost Jarvis Landry. I'm not a believer in this Odell is actually addition by subtraction. I think this adds an extra weapon to their offense, especially without Jarvis. So I have Browns minus 5.5 at home against Justin Fields and the Bears.
I think it's a smart pick. I really do. I think the Bears are going to struggle. And I think the Browns are a very good, very, very good team.
Mm-hmm. And I've got one more. I couldn't decide. I was really struggling with the picks this week. So in true idiot fashion, instead of just walking away, I have a bonus one. Because I just have a feeling, and I don't know why. The Sunday night football game is 49ers Packers. I think the Packers are going to be good this year. I have 49ers money line. I don't know why. I just think the 49ers win at home. That's my bonus pick. 49ers straight up win over the Packers. Money line.
I like it. So those are our picks. Producer Vince will cut up a promo so you can see them on the screen as well. And bet with us at OddsCrowd. Download the app. Use our promo code. Bet for free. Win real money. It's really as easy as that.
It's the most simplest concept in the world.
It really is. All right. We've been rolling. We've been talking hate week. We've had Football Kelly on, given our picks. We've given our picks for the Cowboys-Eagles game. I think it's time for a little ticky-tacky.
I think it's that time.
Let's bring in producer Vince. Normal triangle here. Boys, how are we?
My dog obviously just started making a ruckus. So
of course. Is your apartment still full of people?
Yeah.
Good.
Just so everyone can get a look behind the curtain. Vince's dog, before he came on the show, threw up everywhere. So that's what
that was the cat threw up.
The cat that threw up. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
What did the elephant
I had to
do?
leave. I had to leave during the interview because the dog was pooping. But the cat is the one that threw up.
Oh, sorry. I got my bodily functions mixed up between the two animals.
Yeah, it's hard to keep it straight.
I know.
Aiden lives in such peace.
Oh, man, dude. I'm the only one in this place right now. It's great. I can't wait to watch this baseball game after I'm done. Just
Baseball
lay out
town.
on the couch. Baseball town. It is baseball town. Let's not forget about this. Let's not forget this is a baseball town.
I'd like to argue that living with all of these animals in this tiny space that all like to make a mess is still less stressful than watching a Phillies game.
I don't know if stressful is the right word to describe what the Phillies do. It's
disgusting.
Just
how about that?
What they do, it's toxic. It's a toxic kind of thing. It's not stressful when you kind of know how it'll play out, but again, baseball town. This whole football thing is just a little hobby for the time being.
Yep.
All right, let's get into the TikTok for tonight. Switching the topic up a bit. We are doing most slept on players so far 2021 season.
I like it. I'm excited.
I don't know about you guys. I have both sides of the ball. How about
I do too. I do too.
Good.
I actually have I have two defensive players.
Mm-hmm. You have two defensive players. Interesting. All right. Mm-hmm. There was one position that I did a list and I was like, wait, everyone's on the same position. I was like, oh, I forgot a very easy name. You guys ready to get started? Normal triangle. We're already in mid-season form. All right, I'm starting just like we talked about, defensive side of the ball. At 3, I have Max Crosby of the Las Vegas Raiders. Giving some shout out to him. Highest rated defensive player, defensive end on PFF right now. A huge game, a week 1, 2 sacks. I could not believe that he kept up with Lamar. So at 3, I have Max Crosby. He's been holding it down for the Las Vegas Raiders, who are undefeated.
3 for me. I'm going on a defensive line as well, but different side of the coast. Carolina Panthers, Temple alum Hassan Reddick. He's got 3 sacks, 4 total tackles, a forced fumble this year. He's only 2 sacks behind the leader, Chandler Jones, who had 5 sacks in 1 game. He's playing on a very, very solid defense. He's very under the radar, and he's one of those guys you always find yourself rooting for. I don't know why, but he's just one of those guys. Even when he came out of Temple and went to Arizona, he's playing the right way. He's being coached up the right way, and he's producing.
Number 3, I have Rhondell Moore. This is the second week in a row he's made our lists, but he's not one of the big guys out of Arizona, but he's still putting up numbers. I think has he had a touchdown in both games, or was it just last week? He had 2 pretty good weeks, though.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He's had 2 really good weeks. So I think it's going to be hard to cover 4 receivers on that team.
Mm-hmm.
Very true. Very, very true. All right. At 2, I have Adam Thielen. This is the biggest name that I have on this list, but the reason I have him on is because we keep seeming to predict the fall off year for Adam Thielen, and it keeps not happening. So he's 1 reception off the league lead. He's got 15 already, double digits in 2 games. He has 3 touchdowns total on the season. So he kind of just keeps producing at such a high level. It's just the fall off just never happens for him.
All right, 2 for me. Speaking of a fall off in the same position that we expect to come, especially on the team that he plays for, I'm going Brandon Cooks. Do you even know where he plays?
The Texans.
Vince? Yes. Plays
somewhere
for the Texans.
blue, I'm assuming.
Yeah, plays for the Texans. Has no one throwing him the ball. Definitely not Deshaun Watson because we know why. But he has 14 catches on the year, 1 touchdown, and he has 210 yards receiving, which is good for 5th best in the league. He's only 70 behind Deebo Samuel, who's leading the league with 282 yards. So he's playing really well this year, under the radar, on possibly the worst team in the NFL.
Has he ever been on a team that isn't blue?
Saints.
What? Yeah.
Good trivia question.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
I feel like he's on Patriots, Rams, Texans. I just keep seeing him in blue. Random Vince fact. Number 2, I have Evan McPherson. Again, another guy that's been on our list 3 times now. So I don't know how many times we need to put this dude in our TikToks before he comes on our show. But rookie making clutch primetime kicks. Not primetime, it was like a 4 o'clock game. But still, clutch kicks. That's hard to do in the NFL. Apparently, it's hard to do in the NFL. I don't like kickers and weathermen, like the 2 jobs where you could just be terrible at it and they'll just keep letting you do it. But to hit good kicks as a rookie, pretty impressive. And honestly, if you find yourself a good kicker, just keep signing them for the next 20 years. Kickers and punters. You want kickers, punters, and long snappers. You get 1 good one, just keep them around forever.
Shout out Pat McAfee. Come on the show.
Yeah. That would be enormous. That would be wild. Talking about matching the energy. We'd have to match his.
Oh, God.
If Peyton and Eli couldn't handle him, I can't imagine what you guys would do.
Oh, we could handle him.
I think we'd be able to handle him better than those 2. But
That's true. Less brain damage.
All right. At 1, I have Deebo Samuel. A guy's been on a tear so far this year. Week 1, he had 12 receptions, 189 yards, and a touchdown. A fantasy dream right there with that stat line. But then he backed it up 6 receptions, 93 yards, 1 reception off the league, and then he is the league leader in receiving yards. So he has been phenomenal this year. I think that continues for Deebo.
1 for me is a guy that continuously gets crushed in this league. People say he stinks. People were saying he stinked halfway through the first game of the season. Then he just came back and won that game. He leads the league in passing yards. He's 2-0. He plays in Las Vegas. It's Derek Carr. He's got 4 touchdowns, only 1 interception, 817 yards passing. Let me see. Number 2 is Kyler Murray at 689. He has 817 yards passing right now. The dude's balling out, playing for Chucky. He's got the Dolphins this week, like I picked in my odds crowd, lock of the week. I think he's going to tear them up as well. So a guy I always feel bad for, especially because his brother got knocked around in this league and he still came in the NFL to play. But he can do it a little bit, maybe.
I had him on my list. I had him on my list and took him off because of that last 2 seconds of your answer.
Hey,
still, I'm not convinced.
2 weeks in.
Exactly. I'm not convinced yet. I'm going to need to see 2 more seasons of production for him to be convinced.
I don't even know if he's going to be in the league in 2 more seasons.
Exactly. Number 1 for me, this guy is just incredible. I don't know if you heard about him, Derrick Henry. 182 rushing yards this week, 3 touchdowns. Like, no one's talking about this guy. It's crazy. He's so good.
Pretty big too.
Crazy.
Huge. You see, I saw this picture of him next to some other running back. I guess they went to the same college or something. The other guy looks so tiny.
Did you
I heard that other guy won a Heisman Trophy or something.
Is he famous?
I think it was like CeeLo Green or something. I don't know.
Does he still play in the NFL? Maybe on also the worst team in the league with Brandon Cooks?
I was going to say it's a mystery.
Honestly,
it's always a mystery whether or not he's still in the NFL.
I did not know he was on the Texans. I was still thinking that he was on the Ravens. And then for some reason I thought he was on the Jaguars.
Saints.
Texans, baby.
He could be anywhere.
Texans.
Is that going to be the new team? Yeah, is that going to be the new team where it's like, is this guy still in the league? Yeah, he's on the Texans.
Yeah,
he's on the Texans. Yep. Sounds about right.
All right. See where he is in rushing. Probably not.
I feel like it's not bad. If I remember,
he's 16th overall, 126 rush yards.
Yeah, see, that's not bad.
He's only 3 yards ahead of our guy, Tony Pollard.
Except Pollard probably gets like 25% of the reps.
Yeah. Mark Ingram has 3.3 yards a carry. Tony Pollard 7.7.
7.7 yards per carry. Wow. All right.
RB1.
I think we've got our keys to the game then for
we do.
For Monday night. All right. Do you got anything else before we get into the final touches of Hate Week?
I can't wait to just see you in a boxing ring. It's like this. Come on, square up, dude.
I don't even think. Yeah, see, there it is. I don't know how to. Yeah.
Opposite way. My forearm looks huge, by the way.
What's that?
No, it's gonna be a lot of fun. I can't wait. You can give the people the details because you know what? You're the technical guy.
One last time. We'll see you guys Monday night. Thank you for listening to the show today. Find it on YouTube, on Birds vs. Boys Pod, on Twitter. And then we're also, like we said, on Flipping the Birds Pod. Check that out. As of last night, talking a lot, breaking down these games coming up. And then Monday night is the big event, Showtime event at the Showboat in the middle of the ring. We've got the live stream presented by Vigets. It'll be live when the game goes live, 8:15 until the clocks hit 0. That'll be on Branded Sports _ on Twitter. Follow Birds vs. Boys Pod on Twitter. Live stream on YouTube. Everywhere. There will probably be a fist fight, and there will also be a dog fight in the NFC East. We will see you then.
And all I got to say to you, Aidan, is can you dig it?
DC for life, Kevin, signing off.
Chris Hansen here, and I'm going to need you all to take a seat right over there and check out Birds vs. Boys.
I think you're completely right here, and I hate it.
Yep. Hey, idiots. Stop doing dumb things. I got 2 phones. Upset alert. Upset alert. I might go insane.
I think you're already there.
There's no hope. Hope is gone. If this was an AFC North podcast, we'd be done in 15 minutes. Bob Hope. I'm going to drink bleach. That is
the team you promised me you were going to be this year.
This is the Consciously Hopeful podcast.
I'll be watching.